So Moose, you this is your third trip to the Boundary Waters,
My third trip, yes.
and you're on day 5 or 6. What are
Six,
day
day
6?
six right
Okay.
now.
Uh,
The 14th of September.
hey, well, before we get too far into this, maybe we should pour some wine. Why don't you pour some more wine? I mean, we always bring wine on our trips, right?
Yes. This is a tradition.
Yes.
It's a black box tradition.
Yeah.
It's easy to port and easy to drink. And not that bad.
And I like Pinot Noir, and Moose likes Cabernet.
Oh, I like Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to have all Pinot Noir.
Yeah. So, as your mentoring,
Here's to the group.
yes, to the trip, yeah. As your mentoring guide, I've observed that you have acquired a great deal of skill and acumen in camping and canoeing. So, how do you feel about your progress?
It's the experience here that counts, in the sense that experiences that I haven't had before. The reason why you think that I very quickly caught on is because this is not much different than many of the experiences I did as a child in Hazlet, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Ventured far and wide, swam in creeks and rivers and in the ocean and in bays. We had forests. As much as people think that New Jersey is this gigantic metropolitan area, just like
Full
New
of
York.
liberals. Yeah.
Yeah, full of liberals. It's full of liberals, but now, but back then I had no idea who a liberal or a conservative was as a kid. All I know is that it was New Jersey was very forest-like, just like this. Although the trees a bit bigger, lots of pine. We have the piney woods, they call it, right? Where there's some type of piney wood monster that lives in there too, that they claim. Forget the name of it offhand, but my childhood was adventuring in the woods. Okay, the difference is I didn't have a family that was into camping, so we never really went camping in the rough like this. Okay, but as kids we camped. Of course, we couldn't stay overnight, but we went deep into the woods. We had forts. You could dig a hole
Right.
there because it was near the seashore and it was very sandy. And we would have forts that were 6 foot deep and tunnels going here and there, and we would cover them up with plywood and cover the tops again, and they were just totally underground. Okay, so we had lots of fun doing that stuff, climbing trees, swinging on Tarzan swings, and into the lakes and the creeks and things like that. So I'm used to eating bugs and dirt and fishing. Did a ton of fishing, worked in the bait and tackle shop, so I'm used to all of this. So, but all it is, and the reason why you think I've learned so quickly is just that I've applying all my experiences to something that's new, right, in experience, but not different from practice that
Right.
I've learned in my life. So that's why you think that I'm an amazing student.
So, would you feel confident in leading a crew
I
out here?
could do it, yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you could too.
I don't have I've already spent a lot of money. I would have to, I would have to buy half that I don't have that you supply by coming, right?
Well, it's really not that much.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a stove, a couple of pots,
Mhm.
the bear bag kit.
Mhm.
What else? There's really a couple $100 probably. I mean, the stove's $100. Those MSR bottles, I think they cost me. So I bought some new MSR bottles for this trip, the bigger ones. Last year we brought the gallon container,
Mhm.
and it's cumbersome
Mhm.
to carry.
The time, if I were to do it, when you reflect back on it in terms of your experience, okay, you've you've collected everything over 15 years.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see, since 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah. So incrementally, okay, one item at a time is
Yeah.
just one new thing a year or two new things a year. If I were to do it, I don't have 15 years anymore, right?
Yeah.
After 15 years, I'll probably be dead. Uh, I would have to buy it all at once. So I would have to think. So the problem for me would be the upfront time to think about everything that I need. Of course, you would be there
Yeah.
to guide me along for that.
Yeah.
But my list is already it's already 300 items long. My Excel spreadsheet
Yeah.
doesn't need to be another 300 items.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do it.
Yeah.
If I had grandchildren that were old enough, I was thinking about when we were talking about who else could we bring. I was thinking about, well, if I did do this on my own with maybe a nephew or a niece or my sister-in-law's grandson, right, who might be interested in doing something like this. It would be the same kind of thing how we started off on Birch Lake, but not even that far.
Uh-huh.
It might be renting a cabin on Saginaw Lake or
Saginaw.
Saginaw
Or
Lake.
Snowbank. No, Snowbank is all in the boundary. No, part of Snowbank's not in the
Yeah,
boundary.
Saginaw. There's the Seagull Outfitters over there
Yeah,
have
right.
real nice
That's
cabins.
Saginaw.
So I wouldn't trust that a young kid who wasn't already gradually introduced could come here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And stay, right? If they start freaking out, what do you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a good way to do it would be, a day or two, or maybe a week in a cabin, where 1 day or 2 days in that week you go out and stay overnight somewhere else across the lake, right? You go across the lake, you set up your tent, you stay there, and then you come back to the cabin, something like that. That's how I might approach
Mm-hmm.
it if I were to take a small group. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But to do what you did is in terms with the scouts and all that, I would like to do something like that, but it's just too late for me. Right? That time has passed.
So, what is it about the Boundary Waters that appeals to you?
Feels like home. Really does. I told you about the Adirondacks. Like one day I'd like to, if we could try the Adirondacks.
Mm-hmm.
If it's I don't know that it's like this, but even if we went to the Adirondacks is formerly the Rockefellers, that type, New York. What was the bank guy, the big bank guy?
Carnegie Mellon.
Carnegie Mellon and guys like that all had these gigantic palaces up there made of logs and stuff like that, and they made them into resorts. So all of the high-end people during the summer would go up there because it was cooler, right? And you could live, you could vacation there, right? So it's a famous place. But later on, they made it into a national protected area, but because it was so well developed in some areas, it's all encompassed by the national parks. Okay, uh, but those are still private places, right? So you could go there and be in the middle of a wilderness like this, and then voila, there you got a big shopping center and all kinds of touristy kind of stuff. It might be too busy for us, right, in terms of getting away. But you can get away to just this.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they have campsites or not, but you can get away to the wilderness. And it's not much different than this because it's not that far away from here, actually. It's just on the other side of the Great Lakes, right?
So, how much of an element of your enjoyment is associated with the fishing opportunity?
Well, as kids, that was the goal, to fish.
Okay.
Right? And then I worked in a bait and tackle shop, and, it's a different kind of fishing. I used to teach people how to fish for giant tuna, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to handle 600 and 800 pound tuna,
Mm-hmm.
and, at the bait and tackle shop when they would bring them in. We had to.
Did you
deal with
handle
this.
them kind of like the way you handled that pike the other day, or?
No, he would have squashed me. They were already in the boat. I wasn't there. They were out there, right? Well, I would, I sell them the equipment, tell them where to go, stuff like that, and the hooks and the chairs and the gear to bring all these fish in.
Mm-hmm.
And these were, you know, rich guys from New York,
Mhm.
Wall Street kind of guys, uh, who, you know, they come in and they spend $2,000 back in the early 1970s on a chair and a reel that was, you know, this big around,
Mhm.
right? Pen, forget the number of it, but it was, and gold plated to boot, and get these giant 1,000-pound tuna fish, and and other striped bass and things like that, saltwater fish.
Mhm.
But mostly, younger, we would do the
Mhm.
freshwater fishing.
So speaking of catching fish, just for the record,
Mm.
uh, who caught 2 fish today?
You did.
Okay.
Let me just fix
What?
the
Wait,
record.
wait.
Let me
So
fix
yeah,
the
wait,
record.
wait.
Today, who caught 0 fish?
You caught 0 fish.
Okay. I saw a big one. The one big fish I saw were bigger than your 2 small fish that you caught.
Yes. Okay. For the record, my 2 fish would fit in the palm of my hand, with some space left over, probably.
I can't believe that it bit the lure.
That is amazing. You take this lure that's what, 4 inches long, 3 inches
Yeah,
long? I
and
don't know
a
how big it
2-inch
is.
fish bites it.
Yeah. He was no guts, no glory, man. I'm going for it.
I want to be big like that guy. I wanted to get there sooner than you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, good. This is very informative.